Namaste, angels. This is the weekly love reading for the period of Sunday, June 28th through Saturday to come, July 4th, the 4th of July, Independence Day in the United States for many. Beginning with the dice, with sex, cocktail, and it's 50-50. And I'm pretty excited because the dice and a lot of the cards are the same as the general. And I had said something before I did the general, before I pulled any of the cards or talked about any of the holidays or feast days or important things or what's going on in the celestial system. Before any of that, I said that I felt that this was not only a week of ascension for individuals, but also couples, like your union, your connection, your relationship, if you have one in the 3D, ascending. And that I was also feeling something particular for divine unions, sacred unions, soulmate relationships, twin flame relationships. And sure enough, we saw a couple of times the Two of Wands, which is back. It's in reverse here. And I'm beginning with this twin flame card. If you saw the general reading, you saw how many times like these kind of energies came out. But as soon as I laid these cards, I was like, oh, this is more reconfirmation. Ace of Swords is also a repeat with which we're beginning. So this is exciting. All right, so it's 50-50, cocktail and massage. They pretty much stayed the same. Massage, cocktail, and still it's 50-50. Let me do them one more time. Still massage. Buy shoes. Definitely those are walking shoes for some, like leaving some situation alone, and forget it. All right, what am I do first? I think the spread from the, no, let me do some of these, the Rider-Waite cards. So let me take these. All right, so the King of Spring or Wands just fell away. Now's your moment to step up into a leadership role. Don't back away from the spotlight, as your plans will be successful as long as you stay focused upon the big picture. Just stick it in here somewhere arbitrarily, and I think I'm sticking it, yep, I'm sticking him with the Queen of Fire. Isn't that funny? I was putting him right there with the Queen of Fire, who is confident, warm, intelligent, and graceful. Stretch your wings and fly. Don't underestimate yourself. Assert your independence and creativity. Both of these are an Aries, Leo, or Sagittarius, or someone likened to those traits or attributes. Could be the planet Jupiter himself or the planet Mars himself. Also, I was made to see that the next card is the Two of Winter or Swords. This is a card that's about not only the fact that we have a decision that we need to make, which the Seven of Summer or Cups is also about. That was underneath the Ace when I picked it up. This is about a decision. We may have a lot of options, pros and cons that we need to make lists of in order to figure it out. But this is about a decision that we're needing to make. And the reason we haven't made it is because we're trying to preserve somebody else's feelings or thoughts or live by somebody else's rules or ideologies, or, you know, like societies. It could be society as a whole or some sort of religious thing. And so we're sort of like, rather than go against them or go against our own heart, we're just avoiding making a decision, period. Procrastination and worrying about what others will think is blocking you from making a decision. If you're torn between your own desires and someone else's, follow your inner guidance. All right, with the Rider-Waite deck, overall energy is the Two of Wands in reverse. The Two of Wands in reverse can be about a deepening of a relationship or of a commitment. If you have an existing one, you feel it getting tighter, the bond growing. If you're not yet in one and you're looking for one, you're hoping for one, it could be like right around the corner with the Two of Wands in reverse. It is a card of partnership, and the wands are about action. So something very, very close by for you, like near future. And it's possible to get like completely swept off your feet, something very, very shocking, stunning. So if it's somebody like returning to your life, soulmate, something unexpected, or you just never thought that you would meet your match or meet somebody so wonderful or whatever, it could really come out of nowhere with the Two of Wands in reverse like this. So that's our overall energy. Oh, and the Knight of Swords is right behind it. And this is a similar card. This can also be about getting swept off your feet, believe it or not. And the Knight of Swords is a very, very fast moving energy. Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, quite possibly. Could be Mercury himself, currently retrograde in Cancer, which is ruled by, or which rules the moon. The moon is the next card. It's in reverse. Underneath the moon is the Two of Cups. So that's a love and relationship card about balance, meeting your match with something reciprocal, true love that you can depend on, count on. Three of Wands behind that, but you see his back is to one wand. There might be some sort of party of three that falls apart this week, and then there were two. And that may be what this Tower is about, which is the next upright card. With this like Two of Wands, if you're lonely, you're really wanting to meet somebody, and you can't imagine being swept off your feet the way I just described with either one of these cards, you're like, oh, that doesn't sound like it's going to happen to me. Make sure that you're putting yourself in situations or places. I'm not saying like throw yourself at people, but that you're out there and you're mixing, you're mingling, you're aware somebody can find you. It's not likely, although you can be swept off your feet and it can be stunning and shocking and unexpected in a Tower sort of way. It's not likely to come knocking at your door, although I've had that happen. I've had it happen a couple of times. I've told people during these readings that I see him showing up out of nowhere on your doorstep, and you guys have come back and told me, oh my God, that freaking happened. And you couldn't believe it, of course. Also, another meaning for the Knight of Swords is that you have a decision to make, and or you're awaiting a decision. Sometimes the Knight of Swords or Knight of Swords type of people, we're waiting for information before we make a move. I've described the High Priestess many times. I said she makes use of all kinds of information first: her wisdom, her intellect, her psychic abilities, what she stumbles upon, what somebody tells her in her ear. They're gossiping. She saves it all. She's not like the kind of person to go around yapping with other people. She saves it all, and then when she gets that information, that's how she develops what is going to be her decision. She is in fact a Knight of Swords as well, with that Gemini energy. So that's why she does it that way. So think about it like that. You're waiting for information. As soon as you get the information, you're going to make a decision too. And or you already have a decision to make on your own, whether you get information or not. I'm like, something doesn't look right. The cards are upside down. Okay, so fire signs, you're up. And the reason I do you guys first is because you begin the zodiac, right? The zodiac begins with the sign of Aries. So Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, this is your card. And it is a very wonderful card for love. It might not look like it because looks like a single woman. And for sometimes I use this card as my single card, but it does not have to be that. It can totally be an excellent omen with regard to love. If you're currently committed, same thing like I said about the Two of Wands. You have somebody in mind, a particular love interest. You guys have an actual relationship or a situationship or whatever. You can expect it to grow in depth, in intimacy, in happiness, in attachment, commitment, all of that. If you're single or unattached, not committed, and you're just looking, I was playing The Sims earlier, and even the Sim boyfriend or guy that I was messing with in The Sims, that my Sim was messing with, she learned that one of his traits was that he was non-committal, and I just had to bust out laughing. So this is not that sort of thing. This is not non-committal. This is deep. Well, if you are non-committal so far, this is a reversal of fortune in your favor and deciding to become committed. This is meeting someone new that there's something there's potential there for something really meaningful and based on something real. There's depth, there's mutual respect for each other and adoration. The other person holds you in high regard, or you can hold each other in high regard. Like this Nine of Pentacles woman looks like she is somebody worthy of that. There's worthiness, there's deservingness associated with this card. Reciprocity, actual, real, deep love could be headed your way very soon, just like the Two of Wands says. Now, I'm saying all this, I want you to keep in mind also, for those of you who do consider yourself to be in some sort of divine union, a twin flame relationship, all of that, that particularly talking to you, because again, I saw that. I saw those relationships experiencing something like this. And now I'm pulling the cards that show that that's just the energy of love. So any kind of relationship, this can be the case. All right. If you don't consider yourself a twin flame or whatever, this can still be your experience based on this week's energies. So that's you guys. Yeah, it's the real deal. I don't know how much more to explain it. So I'm going to move on to the earth signs, Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. Ow. Okay. So this is a card about sadness, obviously. Sadness, it could be actual sorrow, like mourning some sort of situation, whether from your past or a relationship may have just ended or something. This could be about separation and the pains of that. Distance could be something having nothing to do with your emotions. Could be separation due to something like, COVID, quarantine. You haven't been able to travel to see each other because of what's going on, that kind of thing. That's possible too. It doesn't have to mean that there's a dislike or distrust or whatever, but it's going to apply to different people different ways, because that's a potential too. If there is any real pain in your case associated with this energy and with what you're experiencing now, allow yourself to feel whatever it is you're feeling. Like, don't try to put up a wall or block anything. Let it go through, and don't let it turn you into somebody who's just like wallowing in self-pity and persecution. No. Let it pass through, and then you move on, right? And you take it and you move on. And then for you also, still, because this is the overall energy, there's still something better. So you could be holding on to these kind of feelings or a fear of these kind of feelings. And if that's the case, then you know that earth signs this week, you need to work on you and releasing that, because there's something better that wants to come in. Okay. And it cannot until that's gone. I've talked over the past couple of weeks about letting go of hell so that heaven can come in and you can experience this heaven on earth. We don't have to live hell on earth. There should be more to life than, you're born, you go to work, you grow old, you go to work, and you die. There should be happiness as often and as much as we can handle. And so that's what we're trying to bring ourselves. We have to rid ourselves first of those things that make us unhappy. Air signs, this is ours: Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. Queen of Pentacles in reverse. She showed her face quite a number of times in the general reading too. So in terms of love, it's a super, super feminine card. I mentioned in the general too, it can be connected to like mother energy. And it points to, it directs us to focus on home and family. And that was a very strong theme in the general reading too. As a matter of fact, there was 2 fours of wands. The 4 of wands showed up twice on either side, masculine and feminine, each had one. And so home, family, household, those were very, very strong themes. And that's what she represents too. She shows up in reverse to say, take care of home first. That's what's blocking you from the love relationship that you're looking for. So if you're in some sort of living condition with which you're not happy, you're dissatisfied, it's an obstacle to love, it's a negative energy maybe, or it's tied to negative emotions potentially, or to karmic or toxic experiences and or people in your life, that's what you have to rid yourself of. If it's time for a spring cleaning and you haven't done that, it can be as simple as that. Like, you got to clean things up and freshen things up. And then that's going to allow for the love to come in. Maybe because, again, we've been in quarantine. Maybe we got to like disinfect and all that kind of stuff. And then that's going to allow for love in. But it's definitely about focus on home, household, family, and you'll be surprised that those changes or improvements that you make, how they can also improve your love life. If you're currently connected to somebody, again, committed, however you want to put it, they say home is where the heart is. So it may not be so literal for you, is what I'm getting. You may need to just focus some on your relationship. Have you been focused on other things? Pentacles, maybe money is taking your focus from your relationship. You're stressed about work, or you're just focusing on work and money and stuff, and maybe not enough relationship. That could be it. Like home could be representative of your relationship if you're already in one. If you are single and looking, if you don't, and you feel like you don't have a home base, not that you don't have a home, a house, but I just said home is where the heart is. So maybe if you're single, you feel like I don't really have a home base sort of feel. That can be created with your own energy, with friends, with family. Whatever makes you feel comfortable, happy, nurtured, cared for, loved, secure. If you're able to surround yourself with these things, that kind of getting grounded is what's going to help you in, I'm saying you, it's me too. I'm a Gemini Aquarius. That's what's going to help us to draw in that energy, that positive love energy that we've been seeking. I'm also getting some of that, you have to love yourself before you can love anybody else. That's definitely coming through. And it does in general when this card comes up. Water signs: Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio. Your card is the Two of Pentacles in reverse. And this card, in terms of love, is exactly what I was just saying to the air signs about maybe you're too focused on your job or money and stuff like that. This card can often be about that. It's pulling your attention away from love and relationship. Even when we're single and you say, well, I don't have a relationship, so how's it affecting me? Yeah, maybe that's why you don't have one, is because like sometimes when we're single, we say, well, I'm going to throw myself into my work. I'm going to dive in, and then we make it a focus, and we can become overly independent and closed off from allowing people to be able to join with us, or to allow for ourselves to be able to join with other people, or to let people in. So I always say it's important to try to be interdependent. Like, I'm not saying like give up your independence and things like that. I'm certainly not giving up mine. Like, we have to be able to be responsible and care for ourselves and do for ourselves in the meantime and all that kind of stuff. And everybody should have their own friends and be able to stand on their own in a relationship. We should complement each other when we come together. What your shortcoming is where I thrive, and vice versa. And so we fit together, and then that's how you're interdependent. I need you, you need me. I want you, you want me. But when we're just overly focused on money and work and things like that, sometimes we don't leave any room for that, you know? And I'm certainly not just trying to discourage anybody from being goal-oriented or driven or whatever. And that can be super attractive if you're trying to, you know, bring a relationship. I'm just saying make sure that there's balance in your life or room for balance, that if you do let somebody in, you can genuinely give them some time and space in your life. Anything else I want to say to the water signs? I guess that's it. But you know what? I do want to say also to the water signs, if you're single and you do find that you can be kidding yourself. If you're single and you feel like you want to be in a relationship, you may not want to be in one as deep and as committed as you think you do. And if that's you, if that's your style to only be in a deep, like if I'm in, I'm all in, then you may want to rethink whether or not you want a relationship at all. Because again, you may have thrown yourself completely into your work. So you just got to figure out, like, am I ready for a real and deep commitment or not? Or do I want to keep filling my time with work and other things that I enjoy or that I'm interested in or whatever? So again, you review, evaluate, assess, whatever, go within, introspection, and then determine whether you can balance both in your life, juggle both in your life comfortably. I'm in the mood to pull some clarifiers, and I feel like I want to do it for everybody. And at the same time, I feel like I should definitely do it for the people that got the Three of Swords. Let me just pull this for everyone, because that's kind of like what my guides are telling me to do. Okay, it's the Queen of Swords. Upright. So this can be about not pushing. Okay, and I can see how it could apply to each and everybody. If we're excited about a relationship being near, or that it's going to get deeper and it's going to become more committed, we could try to force it. Don't do that. The Queen of Swords, that's the only place she tends to go wrong, right? Because the Queen of Swords, like, you could associate it with Venus, right? She is the goddess and planet of love. So it's like, it's her domain. It's not like she doesn't know love just because she's swordsy. But she can overdo. Sometimes this can also be about one's, like, a mother figure, a mother or mother-in-law or something getting in the way. And for you guys over here, that could be what the third energy is, because threes very often are about some sort of party of three, as I like to call them, and they're not always love triangles. Sometimes it's just another third energy that is an obstacle, and it can be somebody's mother, or like a mother figure, somebody overbearing, authoritative that has thrown a monkey wrench in your program. You're going to get further along not backing people into a corner. Like, you catch more flies with honey. I think that's the saying that goes with this card. Also, in terms of what I was saying, like, us air signs that I said that we may have to get our home together, whatever home means to you. The Queen of Swords is also called the Feng Shui Queen. And so she is the one who gets her home in order and lines things up as they should be, where the most positive energy can come in and allows for increase in her life. So we should all take that lesson. Why don't I do it as long as the cards are upright? If they're upside down, then I'll stop. All right. I just felt to do that, and I said that because when I'm using decks that I can tell whether or not the card is upright before I turn it over, I only pull the upright ones when I'm clarifying. So I'm just in the mood to look for upright cards. All right, so the Ace of Swords is another one of these cards that can mean that we're ready for something new. Or we just really are in the mood for something new. If we're in a committed relationship, it's possible, because this cuts through the bullshit. And the Ace of Swords showed up a number of times in the general reading. Okay. Because it is known as the energy that cuts through the bullshit, there could be something in our current relationships that we're about to cut out. We're going to decide that I can't do this anymore. We got to put a stop to this aspect of the relationship, if not the relationship on its own. If you have something to say, you have some sort of truth you need to speak, because that can be what the Ace of Swords is about too. Speak it. Say what you mean what you say. Don't hesitate to speak your mind and get a weight off your chest. And if doing that, if something that you could say in a relationship, if you're trying to tell your partner something is hurtful to you, it's bad for you, it's toxic for you, and perhaps for them too, for the relationship as a whole. And if telling them that causes you to break up with them, to lose them, and you ain't lose shit. Okay. You haven't lost at all. That's winning. And that's why the Ace of Swords is also considered a card of victory. It just means you're being guided to something better, right? Like a soulmate, twin flame, divine union, sacred union type relationship awaits you. And that wasn't it. You got to cut that one out if that's the case. So don't be afraid to, again, say what's on your mind, speak your truth, say what you mean what you say, and let your partner know if something has been hurtful to you and needs to come to an end and needs to stop. And if they can't see that also and agree that it should stop, if they want to hold that against you, then they're not the right person. And so maybe that's why Three of Swords here, because this is the Queen of Pentacles. So it is the Taurian energy potentially. And these can be crossing because, again, Aquarius's ruler, Uranus, is located in Taurus and has been for some time and will be for some time. So maybe those energies are crossing. Also, this can be showing up because a relationship that you expected to come together by now simply hasn't. Again, don't force it. Don't be that Queen of Swords that tries to push it together just because you're upset that it hasn't come together yet, or you expected it to and it didn't. This is the universe's time, or God's time, whatever you believe. It's not your time. My point is that it's not your time. It's like some sort of larger power that is bigger than you, that's determining the time in which this happens. So don't push it. All right, I think I said everything about the Ace of Swords. Yeah, see? And then something better awaits you, just like I said. Should I just stop here? Because we got the Ace of Cups. This is the new thing that we want. Also, definitely potentially some relationships between air signs and earth signs coming together this week. Yeah, for sure. Or otherwise experiencing these energies. Because this is like a win-win situation. Even in those relationships, again, that come to an end, it's so that, something better swept off your feet, real love, again, reciprocity, adoration on both ends, respect on both ends. It's so that something like that can come in. So like when I said the dice are for walking shoes, go ahead and walk away from where you're being fed this so that you can go somewhere where you're going to get this. Wow. Could be in the form of an ex. That's very possible. Six of Cups is a soulmate card. Contrarily, Six of Cups in love can also mean stop trying to hold on to the status quo. Like if you're in a shitty relationship, stop trying to force it to work. Stop trying to hold on to it. Maybe you need to allow an aspect of it to die. Maybe you need to speak up and say, I can't take this part anymore. I love you, but this is not working for me. And then you cut that out like a cancer, and you only keep what's good. And then you guys build upon that. Or in some cases, again, you got to cut the whole thing out. It's not the relationship for which you're meant. But you got to stop trying to hold on to it, the past, your memories, and deal with your reality. You know, if you're with somebody, the relationship is toxic and you're thinking, you know, he beats me, but there was a time when he was a really good dude, you know, before whatever happened to him and before whatever happened to us and he started hitting me, he was really, really good. And you're stuck in that part. Okay, he's not good anymore. Now he's kicking your ass, so get rid of him. It's like that sort of thing. Could definitely be an ex too, though. And that's very common during retrograde season, particularly Mercury retrograde tends to bring back these exes out of the freaking woodwork. And boom, there's our last card, our last upright card, well, our first reverse card. And actually, this is the perfect one to have gotten. They're up there laughing at us, or at least at me, because this card means that you might need to give like some real deep and serious thought to what's going on in an existing relationship. And if you feel your partner is like dishonest or somehow toxic or hurtful to you, that this is the time to really like look into it and see what you guys have got or don't got. If you're single and looking for love, it's about taking your time. Definitely new people trying to come into your life, and you could really come up against somebody who's good for, like they're just out for a good time, but they're good at making you think that they want what you want. So if you want just the good time too, perfect match. But if you're looking for a real relationship, even if they're not, they're these people who are good for pretending that that's what they're here for too. And that can be what the Nine of Swords in reverse is about. It's really a need for you to pay attention to, be like the High Priestess. Pay attention to your gut, your intuition, any psychic awareness that you have, any information into which you come, and decide from there. Could be, and it's air, it's swords here too. Could be a Libra. I'm sorry to say, and you know, like no offense, Libra. I mean, we all have, every sign has negative traits. Mine certainly does. And it's probably like one of the most hated, if not the most hated on the zodiac. So, you know, it is what it is. But Libra can be a very unfaithful and deceitful sign. The men and the women, honestly. That may be what the swords are about. All right, I was going to pull another one, but I said that would stop after the reverse. So let's do another spread. Or should I do one for the Three of Swords only, for the earth signs only? Let's do that before I move this. Four of Cups. So you got another 3 here. Definitely something for a bunch of you going on with some sort of party of 3. I don't know if it's actually a water sign involved or air, but it's possible that those are the 2 most prominent signs that would be combined with your energy. So the earth, air, water, you know, combinations of those. And I'm not sure if I pulled that card in reverse or if I pulled it upright. I don't know if you guys saw. I'm wondering if I laid it down upright, if it was meant to be up in reverse. I don't know, because just now the meaning for the 4 of Cups in reverse popped into my head first. So I'll give you both. But let's start with what's actually there. The 4 of Cups upright. It very much goes with what we've been talking about. It's about being realistic about your relationship, realistic about love in general, and maybe if you are single, what you're looking for in a relationship, like if you have your heart set on something very, very specific to the exclusion of everything else. So I'm only focused on this. I want love that looks like this and nothing else. And then here's love sitting here staring you in the face. But nope, I want love that looks like this only. And so you miss that. It could be in the form of an actual person. And maybe that's why there's hurt and pain here too. Like if there's somebody who isn't really giving much, maybe they don't have anything or much to give. Maybe it's not available because it's a party of three. Maybe they have another mate. And so they can only give you, or they're only willing to give you but so much. And it's hurting you to accept that. But at the same time, you keep trying to make the relationship out to be what it is in your head, like this vision of love that you have. So that's one aspect, and that would sort of explain the Three of Swords. But if it was meant to be in reverse, and maybe there's some of you to whom either applies, and that's why I'm supposed to do both. If it was meant to be in reverse, or if some of you are feeling this, then this is your message. It can be about finally being able to move past, like, the ghosts of your life and the pain, and maybe even literally having been ghosted. The ghosts of your past, moving on to a brighter, happier time. So this is like the past, and this card showing up is saying, I'm ready to be done with this. And for you, if you're going to do any introspection, then it is positive to try to figure out who and what, it is you would like in your life, like what love looks like to you, and what you want. So I guess the danger isn't only in potentially over specifying that and then getting stuck on that to the exclusion of everything else. And that's the upright meaning. All right, now I feel better about doing that. Let me put these just in case we decide to pull anything else from here. Now I'll do like the masculine perspective. I'll do that one. Okay, so bringing these cards back, again, we were beginning with the Ace of Winter, or Swords. So we just talked about the Ace of Swords, right? I just pulled it as a clarifier. Implementation of your brilliant new idea may get off to a rocky start, but keep going. The challenges will help you to refine your plan and to reshape your goals into something even better. And then you remember the other message I said. Don't be afraid to say what you mean what you say, speak up. Get a weight off your chest, and if the person can't deal, can't cope, and they have to bounce because of that, then they just have to bounce. You got options anyway. Seven of Summer, or Cups. This is also, again, about a decision potentially that you're having to make. It's time to stop procrastinating and to make a decision so that you can move forward with a priority. You're very likely the priority. You are the priority. If you need to do more research, then do so. Right? If you got to go within, if you got to think about it, if you got to ask them what they think about the relationship, where it's going, you got to talk to them, that's part of the research, then do that. But don't overthink the situation. Listen to your heart. And then boom, I couldn't have made this up if I wanted to. Major Arcana card 8. Justice. So first of all these 8s keep popping up, and I talked about them in the general reading too. And I said for some, it's because some stuff is being initiated now, and it won't actually happen. Like ultimately, it won't like karmic completion until August. But Major Arcana card Justice represents the sign of Libra. Isn't that hilarious? Oh my God. But more importantly, what it means is fair decisions will be made after all of the evidence is reviewed impartially. Have compassion for others and try to see all sides of a disagreement. This can mean the end of a relationship. I mean, of course, any card can, or anything can, but in the tarot, traditionally, the Justice card showing up in terms of love can mean potentially the end of a relationship. You got to see, like, if you want to save it, both of you have to save it, have to want to save it. All right, so let's get these cards mixed up and see what other messages would like to potentially come out of here. So this is the ones we started with. We'll separate them all. A little from here, a little from there. A little on top, a little on the bottom. And that brings us to Major Arcana card 1, the Magician. So more Gemini energy first and foremost, perhaps because of Mercury, our ruler, currently in retrograde in the sign of Cancer, also the ruler of Virgo, or could be Venus, our other ruler, who also rules Libra, that was also recently in retrograde in the sign of Gemini, just went direct last week. There is magic in the air. You can manifest everything you need to be successful. Anything else upright? The 10 of Winter, 10 of Swords comes before the Ace of Swords. The end of a career path, project, or relationship brings feelings of mixed joy and sadness, relief and disappointment. Put aside your fears about these changes and trust that a brighter future awaits. So that's a super important message. Again, if you have to let go of something, it's only so something better can come in, I promise. And maybe, again, it's that X, it's some sort of soulmate relationship, it's a divine union, it's a twin flame relationship, a sacred union. The love and care of children could become an important part of your life, or the people from your childhood may return to it. Old memories can be healed, or possibly old childhood dreams are ready to be revived. This can also be your recent past. It does not have to be like you're all the way back to your childhood or your adult past, relationships from your past. And look what's right behind it. This is Major Arcana card 5. It's called Unity in this deck, but it is the Hierophant, which represents the sign of Taurus most directly. So that's that earth energy. And I think that this is definitely a message to you guys, earth signs, who are receiving that, who received that 3 of Swords and stuff, and feeling that in your life. Embrace this time of deep spiritual growth. You may feel called to act as a mentor, to find a new teacher, or to spend time with others who are also on a sacred path. And that's the last one that is upright. The next card is the Knight of Cups, the Prince of Summer. And he can also be about somebody who's returning to your life. Hierophant also at the heart of the matter in the general reading. So again, a lot of the repeats, definitely check out the general if you have not seen it. I'm going to use these cards now for the next spread. It's another 8. This Divine Feminine, this is our card. You've been presented with many wonderful opportunities at once. While this may feel very stressful, remember to be grateful for the blessings that heaven sent you. So it's about keeping that positive mindset despite whatever might be happening around you. And know that the 8 of Spring or Wands is about communication coming in, whether it's actually hearing from somebody that you want to hear from, or it's some other communication, some other information that comes to you that's going to be beneficial to you, that's going to allow you to help you to figure some things out and get some clarity, maybe even closure on something. Also, the 8 of Wands is about the universe working behind the scenes, or God working behind the scenes on our behalf on our situation. Masculine as it relates to the feminine, and this card is the 8 of Summer, 8 of Cups. So him wanting to move on from something, to move toward something more meaningful, something deeper. I mean, that can mean many things depending. You feel that there's more to life than what you're living, so it's time to move on. You may be moving from a situation that isn't good for you, or perhaps you're being drawn to what would make you happy. Either way, you're in control. Remember I was saying it's like a win-win, like either way it's going to be fine. Masculine as it relates to himself, Major Arcana card 12, Awakening or the Hanged Man. Look at things in a different way and all will make sense. Don't worry if your progress is halted temporarily. You could feel like you're stuck, like nothing's moving, nothing's happening right now. That's what the Hanged Man is about. It's an air of suspension. It's feeling like you're in limbo and nothing's happening right now. It's giving you time to figure something out. It's another 3, by the way, too. So potentially having to do with some sort of party of 3. It's also a super positive, in a spiritual sense, card about awakening. And again, I told you I felt that was going to be big this week for not only individuals, but relationships also ascending together. Major Arcana card Awakening or the Hanged Man represents the sign of Pisces most directly. Can we see everything? Good. The masculine on the union or connection as a whole. And it's the 4 of Wands again. Contentment, peace, and abundance. A happy home life and the successful completion of a project. Karmic completion is what I've been talking about. 4 of Wands, of course, also like a marriage card. A card of cohabitation, moving in together. Beginning of commitment. All the things we've been talking about. Overall, boom, the 2 of Water, 2 of Cups. A relationship that continues to grow closer. Forgiveness and the positive resolution of a conflict. What energy the masculine would have the feminine give to the union or connection this week? 6 of Autumn, reciprocity, equity, equality, and the ability to both give and receive freely. This is also super tied to Saturn entering retrograde this week, which I also talk in the general about. Your success and prosperity have allowed you to pay off debts, acquire wise loans, or to receive a grant or scholarship in return for heaven's blessings. Be sure to share the wealth with others through donations of time or money to reputable charities. If you get blessed, be a blessing to someone else this week. This card, when it shows up, it's saying you're going to get some sort of assistance with no strings attached from the universe in some form this week. You do the same for somebody else in some sort of way, whether it means donating to your favorite charity or, giving somebody your time, a listening ear, maybe, somebody needs someone to talk to. However you can give of yourself to like pay it forward, you should. What energy the masculine himself willing to give to the union or connection this week? It is the King of Autumn. He's another repeat. He is compassionate, accomplished, charismatic, and grounded. Everything's going to turn out great. Projects will be stunningly successful. Exciting new career opportunities are possible, and money or resources that come your way will be invested wisely. The King of Autumn is a Taurus, Virgo, or Capricorn, or someone likened to those traits or attributes, or perhaps a Sagittarius, a Scorpio, or yes, again, a Capricorn, because those 3 planets or those 3 signs rulers are all currently, or as of this week, retrograde in Capricorn. Jupiter, Pluto, and Saturn. Jupiter, the ruler of Sagittarius, Pluto, the ruler of Scorpio, and Saturn, the ruler of Capricorn itself, all retrograde in Capricorn. What the universe or God would have each of us give to the union or connection this week, and even wants to help us with, but requires us to first affirm because we have free will, is 10 of water. The universe just wants us to be happy. God just wants us to be happy, wants to help us with that. A contented and rewarding family life. Your emotional and material needs are met. You have trustworthy relationships. And the outcome. Boom. The Ace of Spring, the Ace of Wands, a wonderful new opportunity presents itself. It may come as a surprise. Remember I said you could be stunned, shocked, tower type stuff. But you'll still want to leap into action and to passionately pursue every possibility. Don't be that Four of Cups where you can't see one of the possibilities because you got tunnel vision on, another or three others in the case of the Four of Cups. Queen of Swords just popped out. I was looking for cards from the Angel, from the Angel Tarot to also give us for advice. And the Queen of Winter or Swords just jumped out. So we just saw her as one of the clarifiers from the last spread. And here she is again. Experienced, self-sufficient, brilliant, and funny. All of your life experiences have prepared you for this moment of truth. It's time to declutter your home, to clear away situations that aren't working for you anymore, and to disengage from people who create more drama than happiness. So like all the things that I said in terms of the meanings of the cards that popped up for us in the last spread, that's what she's saying she represents. Again, I also have my Send Master deck here, and I ended up with Twin Flame on the top, but I'm going to go ahead and let's see if anything else is up right behind him. No. Lord Ganesha's next card, it is in reverse. Yes. Opening to crystals, that could help to like clear your energy or to draw in what you're looking for. Maybe some rose quartz if you're trying to pull in love, or a twin flame stone, like two twin stones that grew together, that are stuck together. Soulmate stones, they're also called. I open to this, clear and shield your energy again. That's interesting. Twin flame. Yoga, meditation could help you. Yoga and fertility, says Pan. So that's like fresh energy, right? New ideas, new energy. I also have my numerology deck here, and beginning with an overall energy of card number 19, Pride. The next card is in reverse. We'll mix these up a little bit too. Opening to spiritual partnership. Spiritual partnership. Self-discipline. Spiritual partnership. Leadership. Effort. Effort now. And karmic completion. On that note, we'll make that the last one. And lastly, the surrender deck, asking what we need to let go of, what is inhibiting us, what is blocking us. Beginning with surrender comparisons with other people. And I went on a little, as I was shuffling, I didn't stop the reading or anything, but as I was shuffling in the general, I went on a little mini rant about somebody who's always trying to be me. And I said that some of you may experience the same this week, because that's probably why I was prompted to talk about it. Anyway, keep your eyes trained on yourself. Focus on your strengths, attractiveness, and power. Also, surrender to what is this is definitely what I was talking about during the reading, this one, right? And focusing on like reality as opposed to like the image that we have in our head or something. Flow with what is instead of fighting it. When you can't change a situation, compassionately accepting it exactly as it is will bring you peace. Also, surrender to prayer. Give yourself over completely to prayer. When you pray from your heart, you will be heard throughout the universe, and answers and support will arrive. Surrender to wonder and awe. Open to the magic of every moment and sense the awe and wonder in all of life. This attitude will keep you connected to the ecstasy of flow. And that's the last one that's upright. Surrender your addictions. Means let go of them. Surrender stress. Surrender to success. One more. Surrender your need to always be right. Further advice to the masculine from the surrender deck. What do you need to let go of? Surrender the habit of people pleasing. Amen. Speak your needs and be true to yourself. Focus on your own happiness instead of always trying to make everyone else happy. This is very much connected to the Two of Swords, right? Choosing what makes you happy as opposed to what society wants, your family wants, whatever. Feminine, surrender to passion. Get out of your own head. Oh man, I couldn't make this up if I had tried. And aren't these exactly the words that I used? Get out of your own head and feel the fire in your belly. Focus on the people or activities that ignite your passion and let it flow. From the numerology deck to the masculine, just plain old surrender. Stop fighting. Feminine, love, partnership. This is very, very positive. It's like the Lovers kind of card. And in numerology, twos are about partnership in large part, also faith, and sixes are about love. Masculine, Serapis Bay says, go now. You know what that means, and you know what direction you need to go in. Feminine, Archangel Michael says, you can do it. Whether that means working towards something or someone or away from something or someone, you know what it means for you, and Archangel Michael says you can do it. From the Angel Tarot to the masculine, Major Arcana card 16, life experience, or dun dun dun, the Tower. A significant life event, a powerful revelation that leads to change. It's time to spread your wings. So we saw where the Tower showed up with the first cards that I was using, the Rider-Waite cards, and what it can mean. I know a lot of readers, probably most, maybe all you've seen but me, will just go on about how horrible the Tower is, and that's just not how I read it or pick it up. It's just never has been. It can be just being overwhelmed, stunned, shocked, having a major aha moment. All of those things can be the Tower too. It doesn't have to mean that everything came crashing down and, you know, it was devastation. From for the Angel Tarot to the feminine, it's another Six of Cups. Memories from your history or childhood. Issues regarding children and romanticizing the past. And to the masculine, from the Animal Tarot, it's the card I kept talking about. Major Arcana card 2. So notice it's another 2. Again, faith, partnership, duality, equity. equality, balance, the high priestess, most directly representative of the sign of Gemini. This is the time to pause and to reflect, not to take action. Trust in your spiritual gifts as nothing is hidden from your divine intuition. And lastly, for the feminine from the Animal Tarot, it is the Knight of Swords, which is one of the second cards I think we saw in that Rider-Waite deck. Again, the Knight of Swords is about a decision that we're needing to make and or that we're awaiting so that we can make a decision. The Knight of Swords, or Prince of Winter, is decisive, focused, driven, and impulsive. It's also a Gemini, Libra, or Aquarius, or someone likened to those traits or attributes, just like the Queen here. Could be representative of Venus herself or even of Mercury himself. Get ready for progress to speed up. This situation requires you to choose logic and intellect over emotion and to make your decisions quickly. Hope you guys have enjoyed the love reading. I will be back soon with something else, probably the moon reading, because yeah, this reading goes through the 4th of July. Well, July 5th is the full moon in Capricorn. I think it might be in Capricorn also. Yeah, I think so. All right, we'll see. We'll see soon. Namaste.